Hello, it's Scott Bassett with the Understanding Narcissist channel, and this is the last video I'm going to shoot today. I've already shot several of them, and then I realized I have one more thing I want to touch on. That is narcissists and God. Their perception of God, how they regard God, and their somewhat, I guess, desire to be God or feel like they're a God, immortal, had their feelings with death. So let's look at God for a second. And it doesn't, by the way, this is non-denominational. It doesn't matter, what Christianity, Catholic, or Protestant, but whatever it is. It's just a concept of a figure that knows what they've done, that knows what's actually, what the consequences, and the results of their actions have been, how they feel, that they're scared because they can't hide from this all-powerful, all-knowing being. But it's also that narcissist's relationship with God is a bit like an extreme parent. So they have that desire to kind of to attain that level of power, but they also fear it greatly because they're at the total mercy of this entity, if the entity exists. But it's even just by that fear that makes them kind of consider and question to what extent, what can they really get away with, and what's going to be the consequence in God's eyes. So in this way, God is a touchy topic, but it's a topic kind of in the back of their minds. It's not something they want to sit and talk about because it's very personal. It really threatens that foundation that you have as a child, which is the same foundation that they have. Now, God interferes with that because he breaks the rules. You can't fool God. He's all-powerful. Whomever, whatever it is, he or she, there's nothing you can do to escape God. Now, the real crux with God in delivering, whether it be kind of a, determining their fate, it's God's judgment as to who they are, whether they go to heaven or hell, whatever it is. It's not so much that, it's the fact that it's God's relationship and control over their fate, their lives, and particularly death. Narcissists have an interesting relationship with death because they understand intellectually that they will die, but emotionally, they cannot die. They believe they're immortal. I'm convinced. Some people might disagree with me, but from what I can tell, they like to dance around the concept of death and go, oh yeah, when I won't be around. They often talk about death in a different way, often that they're not fearful of it, in a way that appears that it doesn't bother them. They don't express those feelings, but they talk about it in a way that's, even if it's kind of humorous, it's too much. When something bothers you, but you don't want to talk about it directly, but talking about it in a way that lightens the mood, such as making it humorous, comforts you and makes you feel better. That's how they approach the subject of death. And I put that in this video too because I think it definitely has a relationship to God and God determining their fate and not being able to fool God. God is not going to buy into the illusion. And so within that scheme of things, intellectually they know they're going to die. However, emotionally, they don't know what their fate's going to be. They're afraid, of course, because of that inner insecurity that whatever it is going to be awful, and that their fate is going to be unspeakably horrendous, what the judgment of them will be. But at the same time, it's that, are they even going to die? Because when they're in that illusion, when they're in that moment, when they're in control, they feel like a god. They feel like they're in power, have absolute power over everything, over you, over the environment. They believe all kinds of things. They enter that denial state, and they just think there's something, beyond this world, so much greater than this world. And so that when a child considers that they are going to die at some point, they can grow into it, they can understand it, but the narcissist never leaves that point. They just realize they're terrified of that notion. And so what do? Well, it's what they do with everything else. They deny it. They don't consider it. They don't deal with those feelings. They're never worked through. They're never even considered. So that is a concept that you'll see kind of in the background. It's not something they're going to sit and talk about, but you will see it with narcissists. A fear of death unlike any other, a fear and relationship with death, or the concept of death and dying, that you don't see with anybody else ever. Thanks for watching. Like this video, share it with your friends or someone you think might benefit from it. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want even more information, I've got my book, The 16 Signs of a Narcissist, in the description box. There's a link for it if you're interested. And have a wonderful day. Take care.